Shalom. Hope your day's going well. I'm coming to you from the first prayer garden I built on our property. And I wanted to ask you a few questions and do a little bit of sharing. I'm wondering if in your life you have faced having strong prophetic words that may have been the foundation of your life. They may be the trajectory from the ultimate call and destiny on your life. But as you proceed towards that, you may hit not just speed bumps and so forth, you may hit actually levels of success where you really come into a place and it's successful and you're performing and it's working well. But then instead of just going from step to step like a linear path, instead of going from one place to another through the course of the years, you find yourself running into old issues or maybe one particular issue that keeps coming back at you. I'd like to address that if that happens to be in your life. If you're on a journey looking for the major prophetic words still to come to place. You see, when God speaks a prophetic word that has a long, profound effect upon where your life will ultimately end up, He speaks it to one individual, and oftentimes the individual you become in the process is a different individual. Because we can get it in our mind and we can latch a hold from one era of our life. But what you find in Joseph's life, God spoke a word, really clear word of what would happen in his future. And as a 17-year-old, he saw those dreams where he would rise to a place of authority. He'd have some preeminence, not only with his brothers, but with his parents as well. Coat of many colors, a lot of things fit into that situation. And he was in a spike of success. But then he hit this being outcast by his brothers. It was a game changer. It didn't fit into his paradigm. But he recuperated. He got around it. And in a sense, he moved forward. So in a way, like my illustration with the ruler, he moved from one place to another externally. But the internal movement is what I'm really talking about. And so in that place, he finds favor in Potiphar's house. He rises again. He spikes. He sees his success. He's delivering. But sure enough, something else comes along and it levels him all the way back down. To like, what's going on here? How's this going to come to pass? And again, see, there's kind of a divine exchange that's going on that becomes more apparent later in his life. Is that each time we have these, what appear to be setbacks, we come away with more of God and less of us. So that by the time we get to the end, we really are a different person. God needed Moses to be a very different individual to stand with him arguing for the betterment of Israel, as opposed to the Moses who started out in the whole process. Had God said, move aside, I'm going to smoke these people, the first Moses would have said, it's about time, do it, I'm ready, I'm game. But after all of those years of tending sheep, he became a different person. So when we, in a sense, life I want us to see is more circular as opposed to linear. So there are certain things in our life that we all have that are our spikes, they're our strong points. But as we go around the mountain, it's not if you fail the test, you're going to go around again. No, I'm trying to say life is circular. And there are things that you will hit on a regular basis in your life. They're going to come back around. And if this hasn't been your experience, wonderful. You can pray for the rest of us. But we come back around to issues that tend to aggravate or be the opposite of what we're really looking for to be happening in our life. And so that happened with Joseph again. Comes to a place of prominence, spike, the words reenacted and so forth. But ultimately, in the long run, he winds up into problems with Potiphar's house. Same thing in the prison. Same thing. Now, here's the issue I want to say, is that Joseph was not meant to hit his plateau and rule in Potiphar's house, nor in the prison. And many of us, in our procedure going towards that ultimate call in life, hit places of success. This was a principle that wasn't quite understood 15, 17 years ago, 19 years ago, when the seven mountains emerged, the whole philosophy of coming to leadership in these places, because we definitely advanced and had success in different places. But ultimately, God's not going to release you until you get into the place that is your last stepping point, where you actually come into the fullness of the prophetic word. So as life goes circular, you can have spikes of success, but there can be these downsides and these challenges that really throw us off, can cause us to really question what's going on, because God is preparing not just the word, he's preparing a vessel that can actually be the word. Joseph had the opportunity to become bitter, angry, and resentful, and that would have defeated the call on his life. It was the rough spots that caused him to hit that place and have compassion and become a redeemer for the very people he needed to be that redeemer for. Both were essential for the God exchange in his life. So be patient, stand in there, and be faithful in all the little things, and the big things will actually come to pass. Bless you.